For the 26th time in the Sony Cup Series history, we're going to get set and ready to run the Daytona 500 to start off another race season. James Shelly is on pole for the 26th running of the Daytona 500 alongside his Alex Bignacco. Both drivers found problems in their Gatorade duels, but they have a chance to win the Great American Race tonight. They have a good race car underneath of them. Behind them is the race winners from Gatorade Duel 1 and Gatorade Duel 2. Dejon Weeks got to the front late in the race and was able to hold off all the challenges. Dylan Young in Gatorade Duel 1 finished second for the second time this Speed Weeks, finished second in the shootout and second in the duel. If he finishes second today, it'll be a good points finish, but today nobody is worried about the points. They want to etch their name into history as a Daytona 500 champion, and Young is hoping to do that for the second time. He's the Season 10 Daytona 500 winner. But for Duel 2, a photo finish by 6/1000ths of a second. Samuel England, the 2019 Napa Pro Series champion, just barely edged out last season's champion, Jesse Turner. Turner hoping to finally win the Daytona 500 after many attempts. Turner, this will be his 14th start in the Daytona 500. A lot of drivers coming in this race weekend looking to finally put their name on the Daytona 500 trophy. Richard Johnson and Luke Martin will start for the 25th time in the Daytona 500. They have started in every 500 race but one, and they are the most experienced in the field. DJ Curtis, Jake Bassinger, Turner, like we mentioned, Ryan Acosta, Hayden Klein, Zachary Fitzwater, and Sean Harple have all made 10 or more starts in this Daytona 500, but have not won the race yet. Further back in the field, we have two drivers that have swapped in different race cars. The 79 is now driven by Cole Baker. Blake Warren qualified the car on last Sunday for pole qualifying, and the 79 car was able to get in on speed, and Cybertron Motorsports has swapped out Blake Warren to have Cole Baker, their full-time driver, in the 79 ride. The 74 Spartan Motorsports car was high enough in owner points from last season to earn a provisional, and they decided to take Jack Halleck out of the race car and put their Season 4 champion and last summer's winner, Hayden Klein, behind the wheel of the 74. Both drivers, like we mentioned, Baker and Klein, drivers swapped, and they will start shotgun on the field as we get ready to roll off here at Daytona for 200 laps, 500 miles. It's the biggest race we'll run all year. Let's get set and ready to go down for racing. The field rolls off. The starting lineup for the 26th running of the Daytona 500 will run on your screen. Some big contenders for today's race. The Gatorade duels really showed that this Daytona 500 can be won by anyone. Dejon Weeks won the dual qualifier. Samuel England, also a dual qualifier winner. And then Eric Tamax won the Sony shootout. Those have been the winners so far in all of Speed Weeks. James Shelly is a super speedway ace, and he's on the pole, and he's super good on the super speedway tracks. He made a daring last lap move in Duel 1 to try and get back up to the front and win his dual qualifier, and ended up causing an accident that took a few guys out of the running to make this Daytona 500. Shelly looking for redemption today. Alex Bignacco was not a factor in his dual qualifier. Both drivers on the front row look very fast. Dylan Young's the one driver you want to try and keep an eye out for. His teammate alongside of him, Jesse Turner, has been eyeing this race for a long time now. Turner won the last two races to cap off 2021 with a 10-race win season. And Turner, if he can win the Daytona 500 today, it'll be the first time since 2012, 10 years ago, which we need to note that. Turner, if he can win 3 straight races, it's not been done since 2012. Speaking of 2012, it has been 10 years to the day, back from March 9th, that the series ran the very first Daytona 500. So in a couple of days, the Sony Cup Series will have its 10-year anniversary. What a way, 10 years of the Sony Cup Series. We're about to go racing for the 26th running of the Daytona 500. We are racing. already onto the back straightaway today. 200 laps of racing at Daytona. Everybody's going to need to show their patience in their Gatorade duels. For the most part, they were pretty safe, all things considering. Duel 2, they got out to 4 wide early on in the race, and lucky we didn't have a wreck, but we haven't went 4 wide. We're not even going 3 wide yet. 3 wide back there in the 30s, but it's going to be James Shelly that's going to lead the first lap of the 2022 season. Dylan Young wasting no time. He's got alongside of James Shelly. Ton of performance racing. That has been the talk in the garage. They have looked very quick, and Dylan Young could be the underdog in that Ton of Performance stable. You know, he didn't win a race all last season. His whole entire team combined to win 15 of the 30 races last season. And Dylan Young, he's going to lead lap 2. So Shelly lap 1, Dylan Young lap 2. I think when this thing is all said and done, Ton Performance Racing may have something to say about who wins this Daytona 500. But downstairs, Charlie Smith in his Horizon Group 76 car. That's a Pontiac. We've mentioned it all throughout Speed Weeks, how Pontiac and Mercedes, new manufacturers on the grid. Pontiac making their return for the first time since 2015. And Mercedes have never raced in the Sony Cup Series. This is their first points-paying event. And Bobo Jones, how about him racing his way in through the duels? He was already locked in through his qualifying speed, but that team getting a lot of help from Rodriguez Racing for this season. They did last season, and Bobo showing that that 33 car has speed. And last year's runner-up for the championship, Bobo Jones, has had a heck of a run in Speed Week so far, as they're 3 wide back there in row 2. That 3 wide quickly went 3 wide for the race lead. Jeffrey White and his race team kind of had problems in the preseason getting him a ride prepared for this Daytona 500 Speed Weeks. There was a lot of talk in the garage that Curtis Racing's number 11 team might have to withdraw from Speed Weeks because they were not able to get a car prepared for this event until very, very late. They didn't qualify on pole day. They had to start to the rear in their Gatorade duels. But here they are on lap 5, door to door with Dylan Young, Matthew Rodriguez, Eric DeMax. Some fast cars just behind them. Jeff James and Richard Johnson also on the inside there. Hayden Klein, Season 4 champion at Spartan Motorsports. They kind of struggled all throughout Speed Weeks to have a good enough pace to run with these boys. But Klein is in the Daytona 500. This car got in through provisional. Jack Halleck had raced this car in the duels and qualified it, but it is Hayden Klein behind the wheel. 3 wide for the race lead and 3 wide pretty much all the way back. And Matt Rodriguez, Season 14 Daytona 500 champion, is going to take his turn to the lead. All race long, we're going to try and cover as much battles for the lead that we can for you. But with this package, it's going to be very tough to be able to keep up with every battle on track. Pit stop windows, these cars can go about 50 laps on a tank of fuel and tires. It's really pushing it. So we're expecting at least 3 stops for today's race. Eric DeMax, we talked about him. He is the Sony Shootout winner for Speed Weeks. And his zero car, he was very quick in Duel 1. Jeff James to the inside of him. He's in the middle line. Jeff James has been very quick with Joseph Strigley Racing. He could be a factor today. The 2015 Daytona 500 champion. A lot of 500 winners making their way to the front. DeMax is one of them as well. But this is one driver that has been around since the very beginning and has never won the Daytona 500. Richard Johnson, we talk about it every year it seems. Richard knows how to get to the front in whatever race car he drives. And Richard Johnson, they call him the old man in the garage, and a lot of them are wondering when he's going to hang it up. But Richard will probably keep on racing every year, at least in the Daytona 500, because he just knows how to get it done and run up here with the leaders. And he's won just about anything and everything that you would need to win in the Sony Cup Series. But the Daytona 500. Matthew Rodriguez has gotten from that outside line all the way back to the lead and passing Eric DeMax. But DeMax quickly crosses over in the tri-oval. Cody Lamas in the 48, bringing Peter Onjak, the rookie. Onjak in the 66, following the 48 to the front. Charles Sanford, Anthony Marchese, they started out back, and it didn't take them very long Looking at everybody on the inside line, there's Ryan Griffin, Dylan Schwellenberg, Zayden Davidson and his teammate Cole Baker in the 79. All of them relatively started out back, but up front, Eric DeMax continues to lead the way. This is the kind of racing that fans and drivers alike have kind of wished would happen. The last few years, we have seen the packs spread out and the cream rising to the top at Daytona and Talladega. But with these restrictor plates back on the race cars for the first time in years, look at this racing. They are 3 wide, pretty much from first all the way back to 41st. And relatively anybody has a chance to get up here and race for the lead. Pit stops will be the name of the game in the Daytona 500. If caution flags don't fly, you better hope that you stay with the lead pack. As long as you're in that lead pack, you have a chance to win the Daytona 500. And everyone from Eric to Max all the way back to Luke Martin in 41st is in a shot and in a good position early on in the run. Matthew Rodriguez again working on Eric to Max, continuing to try and take the lead back. He's got some friends downstairs, Cody Lamas and Richard Johnson, trying to pull up alongside and passing Eric to Max. Has been able to kind of lead this pack around the last couple of laps. Matt Rodriguez slides up in front of his old teammate. Cody Lamas, last year's 500 winner. He's got a good car early on, showcasing his ability. He opens the door, though, for Richard Johnson. DeMax ditches Rodriguez. And just like in the duels, the cars starting to split up just a little bit in the pack. They are still bunched up together massively. And here comes the Red Bull, Charles Sanford. The Red Bulls were so good in their Gatorade duels. And Charles Sanford, he has came from a long ways back. Same with Anthony Marchese. And Charles Sanford, from starting out in the 30s, has made his way up to the lead. By lap 17, Sanford tries to block Richard Johnson. And Charles Sanford, the Season 9 500 winner, is now out front. But here comes Anthony Marchese. A push from his teammate. Marchese pushing up. Seems like the drivers really want to kind of get to the outside. Maybe there's more stability up in the middle and the top groove because the drivers love to make their way up to the top. We see Dylan Young, Matthew Rodriguez, Richard Johnson now. They are kind of moving their way back the running order as these drivers try and experiment the lines. The inside line is definitely still moving, and Ryan Griffin in the Wrangler Chevrolet is going to take his turn at the point with Davidson and Cole Baker. Lap 20 in the race, and Austin Rogers in the 55 for Martin Motorsports and Stephen Paul III for Texan Motorsports. They used a provisional to make the race, and they kind of struggled to have speed in their duels, but Rogers and Stephen Paul III hugging that bottom line, and we're just about coming up on halfway for pit stops in this first run. And Rogers and Stephen Paul III just minding their own P's and Q's right now, doing what they need to do to be racing with the leaders. And for Rogers, this is his first ever Daytona 500 start, Austin Rogers. And he's doing a pretty good job right now. He's racing alongside of Jacob Hart and Hart's teammate, Peter Onjak. Leaders have ran up on Hayden Klein in the 74, and that has slowed up Anthony Marchese. Marchese was leading the race and doing a well of a job. And now Marchese is stuck trying to push the 74 car. Hayden Klein, that car has struggled all through speed weeks. And the 74 car, we expected to be able to hang with the lead draft, and that team expected to be able to stay with the leaders, but they lost touch with the lead pack early on, trying to get back up to speed ever so slowly. And Marchese, Sanford, Johnson, Rodriguez, and others are just stuck, nowhere to go. They're free-falling back through the pack. Meanwhile, because of the lap car of Hayden Klein, that's meant for Dylan Schwellenberg to go up and do it by himself. Schwellenberg was just behind Anthony Marchese and pushing him to the front. Now Schwellenberg, the hometown favorite, is up front trying to do it on his own. Ryan Acosta trying to put his name in the win column for Mace Enterprises. A lot of big-name drivers have won in that 24 ride over the seasons. And Acosta, he takes a lot of pride in this 24 car. And a lot of people thought that, Mace Enterprises in their final season was not going to have that good of a run in their final season. But Oh man, they're getting very loose up top. And the tire wear kicking in. So Acosta slipping down in the middle line. And Austin Rogers, we were just talking about him, staying to the inside line and is following Jacob Hart. Hart in the 61, getting a run on Dylan Schwellenberg here, but here comes Griffin. Griffin to the inside. Schwellenberg not able to block it, and Ryan Griffin goes back out front with the lead. Cole Baker in the 79. He's a past pole winner at Daytona. Cybertron Motorsports. This is their driver full-time in the third car in the 99. But that 99 car didn't have any points. But hold the phone. Sorry to interrupt. They are 4 wide further back. They're bouncing off each other. And DeLeo may be in trouble there. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they saved that. They got 4 wide momentarily. Charles Sanford, Samuel England, Nick Mace. Charlie Smith was stuck where he didn't really want to be. And Matt DeLeo was there. DeLeo in the 88 kind of had a tough run in his dual qualifier. Sanford got into Dodd. Dodd bounced up into DeLeo. That's affiliate team cars right there, DeLeo and Dodd. And DeLeo found his way back in the middle. They sorted that out. But Cole Baker doing a good job in the 79 car. He really runs well on the super speedway tracks in his select few starts he's been in the series. And Bobo Jones in the 33. Bobo really impressing me in speed weeks. That 33 car has a lot of potential and a lot of speed. Griffin with another Chevy downstairs, and Ryan Acosta. Acosta has shown in speed weeks to have a lot of horsepower. His teammate Nick Mays was able to run near the front at the end of the shootout and at the end of his dual qualifier, so expect Nick Mays in one of his select few starts be up here near the end. But all 42 cars are in this pack. We are past lap 30. We are past halfway in the first run before pit stops. In a race for the lead, Ryan Griffin, Ryan Acosta. 2 Ryans to the inside of Dylan Schwellenberg. Jacob Hart in the 61 pushing Ryan Acosta for all he's worth. Into the race lead goes Ryan Acosta. Baker does a big crossover down the inside to follow the lead line. Acosta goes up to block Dylan Schwellenberg. Basslinger kind of gets shuffled by his teammate. Jacob Hart, his first time back in a while in the Cup ride, looking to take the lead in the 61 car. And Jacob Hart for Team Velocity is out front, but Baker to the inside in the 79 in his Mercedes. Looking to be the first Mercedes to lead a lap in the Sony Cup Series. Now Blake Warren. Man, Warren did a good job all speed weeks. Almost raced that car in, but that car got in on speed. And Baker in the 79 has always impressed. Another driver that has impressed on the super speedways has been Tip Foster in the 37 Monster Energy racing car. Finished 6th at Talladega, a career best for him. Nearly up dead even across the line between the 79 and the 61, but to give it to Jacob Hart leading that lap. They are 3 wide all the way through this pack. And with the tire wear falling off, I don't know how much longer they can continue to run like this. But Baker edges out front of the back straightaway. Came further back, Matthew Rodriguez in the number 9. Rodriguez, I think, has been stuck behind Hayden Klein ever since they ran up on Klein to put him a lap down. And Rodriguez is all the way down when he came across the line in 38th position. And Rodriguez was just up there battling for the race lead. He's drifted further back, but don't count out on that number 9 to charge his way back up to the front and expect him to be a factor for this one by the time the end of the race comes. Jacob Hart has cleared the 3 wide melee behind him. And Jacob Hart is a 2-time Daytona 500 champion. He won it in season 12, in season 18, and I don't think anyone really truly expected Team Velocity to be a true contender to win the Daytona 500. Zach Rodgers in the 99 for what was Hero Motorsports, but is the Team Velocity team. Rodgers last year was very close to winning the Daytona 500, and this is basically the old 99 that was Hero Motorsports. And Jacob Hart doing a heck of a job leading Acosta, Griffin, and Cole Baker. As we come back to the line, it'll be pretty much 15 laps until we start pitting, but Baker leaning on Griffin momentarily through the tri-oval. Act 3 wide racing once again. Baker got to the inside of Hart, but his momentum stalled, and Jesse Turner, last year's champion, getting a push from the rookie and Tip Foster. Hart again getting a big push from the outside line to clear him from the rest of the lead pack. Jesse Turner in the 17 trying to get there, but Foster in the 37 car is on the inside. What a run by Tip Foster in his Monster Energy racing car. Foster is tapped as the next up-and-coming star for that organization. Running select starts on the 37. Many people expect him to be in that 47 ride next season. But it's all to be confirmed, really. Foster's been with that team for a long time. And what a showing to be behind the defending champion in Jesse Turner and one of the drivers that have won the 500 the most. 2 times is Jacob Hart a 500 winner. Door to door with Jesse Turner. Tip Foster trying to get there. They're 3 wide for the lead. DJ Curtis has found his way to the race lead. Cybertron Motorsports really struggled on Thursday. And DJ Curtis's teammates, all of them started out back. And Curtis, in the number 19, last year's runner-up in the Daytona 500, brings Chris Dodd and Nick Mace to the lead pack. Up here with the leaders. And DJ Curtis is out front in the Daytona 500. But here comes Chris Dodd. As soon as Curtis got out front, Chris Dodd wanted his turn. Dodd and team, that entire Allen family racing team, has not been as quick as they would have liked. But they have brought a good enough bullet to the fight. And Dodd side by side with the 19 car. Mace and the 20 get shuffled by Jeffrey White. White and Peter Onjak have found their way back up to the lead pack. Or back up here to the lead. And that shows a lot of promise there for the 11 and the 66 to show that they have a lot of speed. Team Velocity really showing a lot of horsepower to be able to get back up to the leaders. Hart leading the outside line. Peter Onjak, just a rookie in the 66, is able to get there to the lead twice. Peter Onjak pushing Jeffrey White clear of the 3 wide mess. Curtis continuing to lead. The most I've seen the leaders kind of get strung out just a little bit. 3 cars, at least 4 of them, have broke away. It's Curtis, White, Dodd, Jacob Hart, Turner. Front 5 have kind of broke away from the leaders. We're about 5 laps away from green flag pit stops. Ryan Griffin has also cleared the 3 wide mess. They need to kind of get single file, try and get away from that pack. And if you get to the inside line, that's even better. You do not want to be up top when pit stops are looming. Jacob Hart getting a big push from Jesse Turner. They're starting to get strung out just a little bit. You see them bobble and weaving just a little bit. They're getting very loose on the entrance to turn 3. Jacob Hart, another big push. He's got a fast car in that 61 car. He's back up to second, but DJ Curtis continues to lead the Daytona 500. Are 4 wide again, and contact! Jeff James, oh! Near contact, can't even save it! Back at the racetrack, Jeff James up in the pack! A big wreck in the pack! The entire pack, Zayden Davidson, Charlie Smith has went tumbling. Smith lands on top of Samuel England. Nick Mace is parked up on the apron. Dylan Young gets hit. Peter Onchak. There's Eric DeMax on screen. Cole Baker, Hayden Klein, Daniel Bouchard, and I've never seen anything like it. Like 7, 8, 9 cars or so parked up in turns 1 and 2 and cannot move. They have to get a tow back to the pits, and that's going to cost them a load of time. That's going to drop them a lap or 2 down now because they have to serve that penalty. Tom Capps had made contact with Jeff James leaving the tri-oval and sent Jeff James down there, and James didn't merge back up safely in a collision down in turn 1. It's the big one at Daytona. There's another view of it. Oh, Jeff James kind of moved over to side draft Will Goss, and James kind of cut back over on Tom Capps. It looked like I may have to get a better view of that, but they were racing at high speeds. Alex Peñaco again Oh, and Bobo Jones, who had had a good car all speed weeks, is wadded up. Silver Fox might have got away with no damage. I've seen James Shelly with a lot of damage. That's a tough break. Our front row for the Daytona 500 has a lot of damage here. And a lot of cars had to get towed back to the pits, including Nick Mace. Here's another view of it. Dom Caps takes a peek at the inside. James gives him the room. I don't know. Dom Caps shouldn't have been looking for wide to begin with. And that, I may have to say, that is all on Dom Caps. Stephen Paul III goes for a spin. James Sorfox, I think, did a good job to get on the brakes. Dejon Weeks and Anthony Marchese, I think, did a good enough job to not get any damage there. But a lot of cars are going to be taken out of this one. Riding on board with Dom Caps. He went for a gap and he was as low as he really could be. But that's not really where you wanted to be making a move. And you didn't want to be going far wide. And a crash happens behind him. Riding on board with Jake Bassinger. He was just behind Alex Vignacco, who got wiped out. This was just not going to work. James comes up. And Bassinger was super lucky there. He didn't get caught up in that. Riding on board with Dejon Weeks, the Gatorade Duel winner. Slammed on the brakes. Very minor contact as he tried to whoa up. Very slight damage for the 30 car. He may be able to still continue and be competitive, but Dejon Weeks did all he could to try and miss that accident. Coming back to the restart. Our leaders have pitted, and we're going to show you the order when we get back to the line. DJ Curtis is your race leader. And the lap down cars are really bunched up in a very weird order. But we are back racing again. A fourth of the race is complete. DJ Curtis leads Jacob Hart, Chris Dodd, Ryan Acosta, Jesse Tunner, Jeffrey White, Ryan Griffin, Dom Caps, Sean Harpo, Dylan Schwellenberg, Will Goss, Jake Bassinger, James Sorfox, Austin Rogers, Jeff James, Cody Lamas, Richard Johnson, Matthew Rodriguez, Anthony Marchese, Stephen Paul III, Luke Martin, Dejon Weeks, Charles Sanford, Zachary Fitzwater, Vince Freeze, Joseph Shrigley, John Arndt, Dylan Young, Matt DeLeo, Bobo Jones. A lot of these drivers have damage. Tim Foster in the 37, and James Shelly. A lot of these drivers are still on the lead lap. Now, everyone that had to get a tow back, they are 2 or 3 laps down. That is Eric DeMax, Samuel England, Nick Mace, Charlie Smith, Alex Bignacco, Hayden Klein, Daniel Bouchard, Peter Onjak. Cole Baker in the 79 as well, 3 laps down, and the 91 is the only one out of the race. And the Sony Cup Series FBRL officials have a very, very strict minimum speed order for the Daytona 500. And so some drivers may be getting parked very soon for not meeting minimum speed. Eric DeMax in the 0 is one of those that are 2 or more laps down. And we're going to be watching to see who is going to be competitive still in this Daytona 500. It wiped out a lot of race cars. A lot of cars got damaged, and some of them just no longer have the speed. But there was a lot of lap down cars that held up the leaders. So we're not sure who got held up and just who is too slow right now after that lead pack. But right now, half the field is split up. Like I mentioned, it's very tough to tell who is still competitive to win the Daytona 500 because the guys on the inside line, the lap down machines that were very slow and damaged, held up a good bit of drivers. But one thing is for sure, we have about 17 cars in this lead pack on the lead lap that are very competitive. Eric DeMax had to get a tow back. He looks very competitive. He is the first car 2 laps down. And DeMax, it is not over to at least benefit your finishing position. But to Max in the 0, it's going to be a tall order to get your laps back at this point. I think everybody that got the toe back is going to have to write this one off. But there is no give up in that 0 CM Racing team and that driver behind the wheel. Max has a fast race car, and if he catches cautions at the right time, he could get his lap back. And he's got to do it twice, though. DJ Curtis is in a great position in this Daytona 500 this Speed Weeks to try and win that elusive Daytona 500 title. This is DJ Curtis's 17th Daytona 500 start, and he's never won the Great American Race. He could possibly do that today. He's got a good car. Jeffrey White and Jacob Hart just behind him. Ryan Acosta, Jesse Turner, Sean Harple, Griffin, Goss. Will Goss, man, he is always very good and just very sneaky to be able to get up here with the leaders on the super speedways. He's up in this lead pack with Anthony Marchese. Marchese did a great job to miss the accident. Further back, Samuel England. England in the 82 Red Bull car is blowing up. And out of the race goes the Gatorade Duel 2 winner. England and Red Bull's Pontiac has grenaded the engine. But like I was mentioning before that happened, no caution flag has came out for that. There's still plenty of good drivers that are up here. We mentioned Marchese. Dylan Schwellenberg is up here. Dom Capps, he was involved in that last incident. He's up here. He's a 2-time Daytona 500 champion. Same with Jacob Hart. They're looking for their 3rd win in the Great American Race. Richard Johnson's in this lead pack. Cody Lamas, Jake Bassinger, Chris Dodd, Jeff James, and James Silverfox. That is 17 cars in this lead pack that look like they're still competitive enough to win the Great American Race. But DJ Curtis looks so good out front. But it is still very early in the Daytona 500. We could be getting a change for the lead. Here comes Anthony Marchese in the 54, getting a push from an old teammate of his. Well, not really an old teammate. I don't think Dom Capps and Marchese were ever teammates. But Dom Capps pushing the old 54 car. This was Dom Capps' old ride many years ago, if you think about it. Dom Capps, Richard Johnson working their way to the front with Silverfox and Bassinger. Anthony Marchese had to fall back on his time to make the Great American Race. He had a fast race car, just barely missed qualifying on the front row for the Great American Race. It is Anthony Marchese now leading the Daytona 500, a past Hardy's National Series champion, showing his all for Rodriguez Racing in the Daytona 500. Rodriguez Racing has won a lot of Daytona 500s with the old Martin Motorsports banner. Martin Motorsports now rebranded in a new race team, the 15 car, Don Capps. Luke Martin is in this field. He's in this race. He's back there in that second pack. But Luke Martin has basically started up 2 teams in his entire career. That 54 car, Rodriguez Racing, is the very old OG Martin Motorsports team. Dom Capps driving the brand new Martin Motorsports team, which that team is hopeful in the future they can win races and championships. Today, Dom Capps looking to put them in victory circle in the Daytona 500. DJ Curtis fighting back on the high side. There's a lot of big-name drivers, star drivers of the Sony Cup Series that's in this 17-car pack. I know it's only lap 70, and we're not even halfway in the Daytona 500. We have at least 2 more pit stops to make, but this is an all-star lineup, if there ever was one, of FBRL Sony Cup Series drivers racing with the leaders. DJ Curtis wants the lead back, and he's going to take it. Anthony Marchese has taken it right back. DJ Curtis in the 19 got held up by lap traffic. They have lapped Matt DeLeo and Peter Onjak in the 66 and the 88 cars. And now the pack has got strung out just a little bit. They are much quicker than the second pack behind them. So at this point, barring any yellow flags, this is the big pack that we're going to focus on for majority of the race. Anthony Marchese has a bullet out front. He got back by DJ Curtis and has led for a lot of laps now. Jesse Turner creeping his way back up in the picture as they come up to lap Tib Foster. Lapping Tib Foster has shown that the field has really spread out into 3s again. Rodriguez Racing has very fast Toyotas with the 54 and the 10. The 10 doesn't look as good as the 54 at this point. Anthony Marchese has led for probably the last 15 laps. Ryan Griffin's 3 for CM Racing looks pretty good as well. He's been able to get to the front. The UER cars, United Emirates Racing, Sean Harple and James Silverfox on the inside. They have DJ Curtis just behind them. 3 by 3. Will Goss for Flipside Motorsports. This is their first race as a race team in the Sony Cup Series. And Goss is in the top 17. And looking very good. Goss has stayed out of trouble, and that's all you have to do on the super speedways a lot of the time, and stay in the lead pack. And he's learning a lot from a lot of experienced drivers in this pack. There's a lot of all-star drivers in this lead pack in the Daytona 500, but a lot of young drivers that have came in through the modern era. Marchese, Griffin, Schwellenberg, Harple, the front 4 have all worked their way up through the Hardee's National Series. Well, Griffin hadn't, but Griffin jumped in the series in 2017. All drivers, young talent in the series, and behind Griffin is the oldest driver in the field, well, barring Zachary Fitzwater, Richard Johnson in the 47, pushing Griffin to the front. The veterans and the young drivers all racing in the Daytona as we come up with about nearing 10 laps to go in the halfway point of the Daytona 500. The time to look back at who is exactly on the lead lap and in this second pack that has an outside chance, if a caution comes out, to have a good finish today. Dejon Weeks has got to be one of those. He's 18th, Sanford 19th, and then Vince Freeze is also in there. Nick Mace is 3 laps down, I think, or 2. Nick Mace is 2 laps down. It's a shame for a lot of these drivers. James Shelly's on the lead lap. It's hard to tell with some of these drivers. Some of them had an unfortunate circumstances with having to get a tow back to the pits and going 2 or 3 laps down. Alex Benyako in the 8's one of those. He's 2 laps down. Shrigley in the 86. He's a lap down, I think. No, he's not. Shrigley's on the lead lap. If a caution were to come out, I think a lot of these guys that are in this second pack has the potential to still maintain with the leaders. They don't look too slow, but they lost touch with the leaders. Pit stops are going to be coming up in about 10 laps. Casey and Ryan Griffin have been able to work their way around the lap cars of Hayden Klein and Zachary Fitzwater. So the field starting to get sprung out just a little bit as everyone tries to work their way out from behind the 74 and the 22. Nearing pit stops, Marchese has led for probably 20 laps straight, ahead of Griffin, Harple, and Curtis now. Anthony Marchese is on fire. They're going to need to make some sort of adjustments on pit stop. It's hard to make adjustments at Daytona and Talladega on pit road to improve your craft. You come with what you have, and the 54 team, they qualified 3rd on last Sunday for pole day. And Anthony Marchese may be the upset story by the end of this. DJ Curtis has got back to the lead yet again, to the inside of Marchese. I think he's got it. Jacob Hart getting a big push from Jesse Turner. Anthony Marchese finally having some trouble at the front. Getting a little bit of a headache there from the 19. They are clear from the 3 white cars. Curtis and Marchese, they have been so quick in this Daytona 500 so far in the first half of this Daytona 500. 250 miles coming up to be completed. Curtis and Marchese, they have been the standout performers. They have been so good in this Daytona 500. 100 laps on the board. This will be halfway in the race when they come back. Luke Martin in the 6th. Think he's the last car in the lead lap? Yes, he is. Looks like he's going to go 1 lap down. And DJ Curtis is going to go right by him. And Marchese gets shut out there on the top side, getting stuck. And the caution flag is out at the halfway point. Stephen Paul at the 3rd. Peter Ronjak. They have issues. And DJ Curtis is going to lead them back to the stripe halfway in the Daytona 500 complete. and Curtis takes him to the flag. Going to get a replay of what happened. 4 wide further back with Banyako, Rodriguez, and Pollard. I'm not sure how that exactly happened. Same thing that happened early on in the race to take out a few race cars. Shelly, Shrigley, Pollard III, and Anjak go for a spin and wadded them up yet again in turn 1. Another view of it. They were just squeezing the inside line yet again. Rodriguez came over. Pollard III had a nose in there. And Pollard slid back up, got into Dylan Young. Young saved it. What a save by Dylan Young. But some drivers like Shrigley and others had nowhere to go, and they were taken out yet again. How about this for a highlight reel? Dylan Young getting doored. I think he's got a pretty fast 16 car, although I think he's multiple laps down. But what a save from Dylan Young. Young in the 16. Yeah, he is a couple of laps down. No, he's not. Dylan Young in the 16 is on the lead lap. My apologies there, but what a save from the driver, the 16 Hooters Ford. The second round of pit stops of the day have been complete yet again. It is Curtis, Turner, Will Goss in the 51 for Flipside. What a run for that team. This is how they all lined up after leaving pit road. Jake Bassinger, Cody Lamas, Dom Caps, Marchese, Hart, Griffin, and Acosta, the top 10. As the field tries to scramble past the lap down cars yet again. Johnson, Schwellenberg, Dodd, Silverfox, White, Rogers, James, Hartwell, Sanford, and Rodriguez, the top 20. We have 28 cars that are on the lead lap. Eric DeMax in the 0. He was in the lead pack, already 2 laps down, trying to get his lap back. There he is on the inside with a big push from Will Goss. But Goss has no friends. They all go to the top. Bassing goes to the top, but Cody Lamas is going to go to the inside with him. But it's the 19, DJ Curtis, that surges back out ahead. It seems like a lot more drivers are able to stay in the lead pack. They're a little strung out than they were earlier in the race. But it looks like every driver, even Peter Onjak, who's been in 2 accidents, is able to stay in the lead pack. James Shelly, who's been in 2 accidents as well, the pole sitter. There he is. Bobo Jones, Joseph Shrigley, Stephen Paul III, who was in the last caution. He's struggling a little bit here. But it is Curtis, surrounded by Turner Performance Racing. Similar to last year, DJ Curtis had his hands full with those Turner cars. And here comes Dom Caps in the 15 car. Cody Lamas there. These could be the real contenders to face in this last 100 laps. Curtis, Turner, Bassinger, Caps, Lamas, Hart, Marchese, even Ryan Acosta there, and his teammate Nick Mace. Actually, Mace is a lap down. I keep forgetting that. But those are some fast race cars, and they could be some contenders to fight for. Marchese going up the middle, trying to get up there and get the lead back. While Marchese charges his way up through the middle, Will Goss kind of bobbles there. Eric DeMax. Remember, he is 2 laps down. Dom Caps trying to take the race lead on the bottom. Caps on the inside in the 15 car. Getting a push from Cody Lamas. It's DJ Curtis that's out front with the lead. Leaders are trying to work their way around the 0. Dom Caps trying to take the race lead. He's trying to get underneath of the 0 of Eric DeMax so he can pass DJ Curtis. Curtis, oh my God, they were very loose in turn 1. But Eric DeMax fighting with his all. He's trying to get his laps back as they race super aggressively. Dom Caps is not having it. He's trying to move the 0 out of the way. 3 by 3 at the front. It is Caps and Curtis side by side with a lap car in the middle line. Cody Lamas in the 48. Another time at Daytona, getting a push from Nick Mace. And Caps again really getting impatient with Eric DeMax. He's holding him up. He's pinching him down there. Can't side draft DJ Curtis. And Curtis again moves his way past and into the lead again. Look at the field from a faraway view. Everyone is still hanging on to the draft. Even some of the guys that are a little slower and they are laps down. There's nobody really off the pace right now. They're all able to stay with the leaders other than Stephen Paul III. DJ Curtis leading the pack. See everybody single file on back. There are 20 cars within a second of each other. And we're past halfway in the race. Eric DeMax again fighting with us all to try and get his lap back. Now, he is not 1 lap down. He is only 2 laps down. And you got to continue to fight. You never know when a caution's going to come out, and you have to put yourself in position to get that lap back. And DeMax trying to clear Caps, but Caps again fighting back. Eric DeMax has cleared the leaders. And instead of being 2 laps down, DeMax is 1 lap down. The same lap as Tip Foster, Matt DeLeo, Zachary Fitzwater, and Luke Martin. So instead of running on the same lap as all the other cars that had to get a tow back, he currently could possibly go from 33rd to 29th if the yellow was to come out. So every point's going to matter in the championship. CM Racing, they're hopeful that this is going to be a good year for them. And DeMax, a past Daytona 500 champion, knows what it takes to win here. And it's a never-give-up attitude. He's going to have to fend off the leaders, which they're in their own little race right now. Jesse Tunner's in the lead, but Don Caps looking for a record-breaking 3 Daytona 500 victory. He's got Cody Lamas just behind him, and DeMax again getting pushed back. But DeMax, he is one of the most aggressive drivers out there, and he's going to do all he can to be able to get that lap back. Crashing in turn 1, it's the second big one of the race. Chris Dodd, Sean Harpel, Jacob Hart is in it. Dylan Schwellenberg, Matt Rodriguez, Ryan Griffin, one of the best cars all speed weeks, and Matt DeLeo plows in the back of Nick Mace. Mace goes spinning like a top. Bobo Jones is in another one. He's going to have to get another tow back. Luke Martin, the 2020 champion, he's involved in this one. A big accident there. The leaders race back to the start-finish line. And oh my goodness, and Eric DeMax in the 0 is going to get one of his laps back. Finally, Eric DeMax was putting up a heck of a fight. And Eric DeMax is able to get one of his 2 laps back. Never give up attitude there, but he's going to do it another time if he wants to get on the lead lap. But DJ Curtis, again, is the leader. This wreck had been building up for a long time. The Mace Enterprises cars were 4 wide with Nick Mace bouncing off Dylan Schwellenberg, bouncing off Ryan Acosta, and finally, they just couldn't do it no more. Sean Harpo goes for a spin. Ryan Griffin, Silver Fox gets a little piece of it there. Sanford in the left rear of Dejon Weeks there. And again, a lot of cars get stuck on the apron. Look at that. A lot of cars gonna have to get a tow back. What was Luke Martin doing? That could have been a terrible development there for Luke Martin in the 6 car. If somebody was to come by and hit him in the door, he backed up on the banking. But again, another tough break as many drivers seize their chances of winning the Daytona 500, go up in smoke and for some on the apron. Getting a tow back to the pits is roughly 2-lap penalty. And what a shame, really, for a lot of these drivers. Ryan Griffin, he was one of the strongest cars in this Daytona 500. Been staying in the lead pack. Nick Mace just could not do anything. He should have backed out of it, but nobody was giving him any room. Griffin. And everyone gets wadded up on the apron, and nothing they can do once they're stuck between that transition from the apron to the racetrack. This Daytona 500 just got real interesting. So, 4 drivers decided they were not going to pit. Jesse Tunner, Charles Sanford, Vince Freeze, Richard Johnson, all decided that they were not going to pit. Front 4 stayed out. They have not pitted since lap 102. Everyone else on back, from DJ Curtis, Jake Bassinger, Dom Capps, Anthony Marchese, Cody Lamas, James Silverfox, the top 10, Joseph Shrigley, Dejon Weeks, Austin Rogers, Stephen Pollard III, John Arndt, James Shelley, and Will Goss all came down, got fuel, and 4 tires. Everyone else, from Vince Freeze, Richard Johnson, Sanford, and Turner, they're on 26-lap-old tires, and they're going to have to pit a lot earlier than a lot of other drivers. Some drivers on the inside line. There's Dylan Schwellenberg, Matthew Rodriguez, Ryan Griffin. These are some of the drivers that were involved in the last caution, but they, let's take a look, are 2 or 3 laps down, depending on the damage repair and having to get the tow back. That's why Dylan Schwellenberg is being shown 3, and Matthew Rodriguez is 2. So a lot of people are 3 laps down. Some people are 4 because they've got towed twice. And what an issue that was on the apron. A good bit of cars. About half of the field has been wadded up in a wreck. And for some of them, 2 laps down because a lot of them had to get a tow back to the pits. But still, the race to win the Daytona 500 is on. With 70 laps to go, you have some big-name drivers that are still in contention to win this Daytona 500. It is Turner, Capps, and Marchese in the podium positions, with Lamas and Bassinger making up the top 5. Jesse Turner has gotten rooted out of the lead. And that strategy call from them 4 drivers, Freeze, Sanford, Johnson, and Turner, gonna have to wait to see how that pans out. Jake Bassinger in the 97 in his final full-time season is out front in the 97. Bassinger, he's been very quiet today. Not much has been said about the 97, but he's been up front. James Silverfox is another one. He's been involved in some accidents, but Silverfox has got a good piece. Jeffrey White in the 11, it's important to note, he is 2 laps down. And Eric DeMax just behind him. Eric DeMax 1 lap down for the 0. All it took was 1 more wreck and getting your lap back for Eric DeMax. And he has made up like 13 positions. He went from 31st to 18th place. So Eric DeMax making up a lot of points with his not giving up their attitude. And heck, if a caution comes out again, he's in a good position here. Same with Jeffrey White to try and get at least one of those laps back. DJ Curtis, he has been one of the best cars today. Curtis and Marchese are still in this lead pack, and they have been supreme. And Fitz Freeze, oh my goodness, Freeze and Schwellenberg leaning on each other again. They're 4 wide, nearly 5 wide with Lamas trying to make a move on Silverfox. They're still 4 wide on the back straightaway. Schwellenberg into Vince Freeze. Schwellenberg and Freeze spinning on the back straightaway. Dom Capps, or actually Dejon Weeks, got into Dylan Schwellenberg. They're spinning on the back straightaway. A big collision. James Shelley and Chris Dodd. A lot of cars wadded up on the back straightaway, racing back to the finish line. Oh my goodness, Eric DeMax looks like he's going to get his lap back. Eric DeMax is going to get not 1, but 2 laps back. Eric DeMax is back on the lead lap. With 65 laps to go, and Eric DeMax, the 2020 Daytona 500 winner, is back out front and back on the lead lap. A big crash that happened on the back straightaway, seeing the pole sitter James Shelley get spun like a top, and it all started when Vince Freeze got turned by Dylan Schwellenberg off of turn 2. Here it is, all the way back into turn 1. Vince Freeze, Dylan Schwellenberg. Cody Lamas looked like he wanted to go 5 wide on James Silverfox, and Schwellenberg was pinching on the corner panel of Vince Freeze, which spun him into the wall. James Silverfox had a good car. He was involved in an accident. There's Shelly's going to get hit by Dodd. Oh, he got hit by, oh, well, that was a nasty hit on the back straightaway. Chris Dodd, 2019 Daytona 500 champion. A lot of damage there. James Shelly won the Daytona 500 pole and has not had a whole lot of luck since then. Been involved in an accident on the back straightaway twice in speed weeks. He's going to want to load up and go home, but still, we are still going to stay in Daytona for next week for the Daytona Battle at the beach. But James Shelly, not the way he wanted to start off his 2022 season. Another slow-mo view of the accident. Matthew Rodriguez is actually not all the way down the apron as much as he should be, and Schwellenberg could have probably backed out of that, but he right-reared Vince Freeze up into Silver Fox, who had a pretty good car, all things considered. And Dejon Weeks, who was hanging in with the lead pack, he had damage already, gets more front-end damage by hitting Dylan Schwellenberg. And then James Silver Fox is there, and Shelly comes along in the 71. He ends up hitting the 25 of Vince Freeze right in the back of him. And then it's just along for the ride on the back straightaway. He's going to get hit by the 51 of Will Goss, and very lucky we didn't have a scary accident with Sean Harple in the 14. Peter Onjak right in the back end of Jeff James. Harple, very lucky, didn't have a Marchese moment from the 2020 season finale. A lot of accidents here for the Daytona 500. And we're coming up on 60 laps to go. Nobody can make it on fuel, but it is very important to note what just happened under pit stops. Top 8 stayed out. Well, top 9 really. Eric DeMax is back on the lead lap. And DeMax, he chose to stay out in the 0 car. So the top 9 stayed out. They're going to have to pit the earliest. So the fact that Eric DeMax has made up 2 laps in this race is remarkable. And the Sony Shootout winner potentially could upset. What a storyline it could be if DeMax could come from 2 laps down to win the Daytona 500. Cody Lamas, Dejon Weeks, James Sorfox, Richard Johnson, Jesse Turner, Will Goss, Charles Sanford, and Vince Freeze, they're on the lead lap, and they came down pit road, got tires and fuel. So that strategy that Turner, Johnson, Sanford, and Freeze all had of staying out on 25 lap old tires was all for naught. But back at the front, with 60 laps to go, been making a lot of mistakes in this broadcast, and I apologize, but first race back, 500 miles. This has been a heck of a race. Anthony Marchese has been one of the best cars, if not the best car, all race. And that 0 car creeping in the picture, Eric DeMax. We haven't really seen or talked about him a whole lot, but he has a fire lit under him today. And he could be one to contend with for this Daytona 500. Marchese, Bassinger, Dom Caps, DJ Curtis. That is the front 4. And then John Arndt is on the lead lap. I'm so surprised about that in the 43. Haven't talked about him at all today. But Marchese, Bassinger, Curtis, Caps, and Eric DeMax as DeMax passes John Arndt. Those 5 drivers look very good, and they are probably going to be the ones that are fighting for the win tonight in the Daytona 500. Cody Lamas in the 48. He's been involved in some accidents today, but that 48 is still fighting. He's last year's 500 winner, and expect the 48 to still have an answer for what happens in this race. Joseph Shrigley still in this, and he's been involved in some accidents. And how about Dejon Weeks in the 30? He's been dealing with whatever gets thrown at him in the 30 car, and he's still in the top 10. And Austin Rogers, his first ever Daytona 500 start, In the 55, he's in the top 10. Richard Johnson and Jesse Turner in 11th and 12th, they're still in it as well. Anthony Marchese going back out front with very little help in the 54 car. Anthony Marchese, I don't care what you say, but that driver behind the wheel is one of the best. He's one of the best young drivers we have in the FBRL. And it took him a long time to be able to win a race for Rodriguez Racing in the Hardee's National Series. But he is super consistent, and he knows how to get it done. But on the biggest stage in the Daytona 500, they're nearly 4 wide again. Are you kidding me? Cody Lamas backed out of it. Jeffrey White, Dylan Young, they are a lap down. Cody Lamas showing that he has the speed here. 6 cars up here racing for the lead. Eric DeMax pushing the 54. It would be huge for any of these drivers to win this Daytona 500. What I'm very surprised is Dom Capps is still in position to win this Daytona 500. And Capps in the 15, that Martin Motorsports car, it would be insanely big for Dom Capps to win for the 3rd time in the Daytona 500. He's to the outside, pushing Jake Bassinger. But Eric DeMax, I'm stunned. Eric DeMax peeks out front with the lead momentarily, trying to take the lead from Anthony Marchese. DeMax was 2 laps down in this race, and he's door to door with Marchese and Bassinger for the race lead. Are you kidding me? Eric DeMax, no matter what else happens in this race, you have to give an attaboy to that CM Racing crew and Eric DeMax for being in position now to win the Daytona 500. They never gave up. And wow. There's only like a handful of drivers. I'd probably say 6 drivers have a decent chance. Well, I don't know. Here comes Turner and Johnson. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you can be in the lead pack, you have a chance to win it. Dejon Weeks, Sean Hart, Joseph Wrigley, they're answering that call right now. They're staying in the lead pack. DeMax and Marchese door to door for the lead. With 50 laps to go, we are in the pit window. Whenever they decide to come down pit road, it will be the money stop. It'll be the last time we'll expect these drivers to come down pit road. I don't expect a pit stop until about lap 180. And that's near the end of the race. It's going to heat up dramatically. And I'm seeing Dejon Weeks is able to hang in with the leaders. But Joseph Wrigley and John Arndt struggling just a little bit. Same with Austin Rogers. That's the top 12 that are just barely hanging on to the lead pack. No matter what, Austin Rogers is running a good race. Being able to be on the lead lap. Coming to the end of the Daytona 500. Stephen Pollard III in the 21 car. Running with James Silverfox. Even though Silverfox, Pollard III, Vince Freeze and Charles Sanford, they're all off the pace on the lead lap. This is going to be a big points day for the Texan team. But the fight for the win is on, and Richard Johnson, trying for the 25th time in his career, is going to try and take the race lead himself. But nobody seems to have an answer for Anthony Marchese. Once he gets to the lead, he's able to hang on to it. But we have not seen Eric DeMax get up here to the leaders. Obviously, we've seen him as a lap down car trying to get his lap back. But for the most part, it's been Anthony Marchese that's been able to lead this pack around. Jake Bassinger has a heck of a run. 3 wide for the race lead. And squeezing out of that 3 wide, it is Eric DeMax. DeMax in the 0, leading the Daytona 500. What a story that could be for CM Racing. I have never seen somebody come from 2 laps down to win a race ever in the Sony Cup Series. I might have seen somebody come from 1 lap down, which that is very rare. That might have happened. I'm not even sure if it has. For 1 lap down, let alone 2 laps down at Daytona. Eric DeMax has caught the lucky breaks when he needed them to get back on the lead lap. Marchese showing that he's got a car that can go anywhere on the racetrack to the middle line. The fact that Marchese didn't race his way into the Daytona 500 after seeing the pace that car has in this Daytona 500 is super surprising. Marchese is driving like he is a seasoned veteran. Even though he is not a rookie, you gotta remember, this is his 2nd year in the Sony Cup Series as a full-time driver. Curtis really pinching Marchese though. Dom Capps with a push from Cody Lamas. And Jesse Turner, last year's champion of the series, has not made much of a threat to win the Daytona 500. He's kind of held back a little bit. Curtis with a big push from DeMax. DeMax back out ahead again. But here comes Jake Bassinger. Bassinger getting a push from Capps, but Capps again down the inside. Marchese yet again ditching DJ Curtis. Dylan Young, Jeffrey White, Alex Bignacco, they are all at least 1 lap down, if not multiple. Dylan Young's 2 laps down, Jeffrey White's 2 laps down. Wow. The laps are going to be ticking away. They are just swapping positions back around. Dom Capps is out front in the Daytona 500. Capps has not won a Sony Cup Series race in a long time. Lamas beats and bangs with Jake Bassinger. Cody Lamas has not made much of a threat all race long, but he's in position to go back-to-back. And that has not happened since Nicholas Cordova's won back-to-back from Season 6 to Season 7. And that's the only time that's ever happened. Cody Lamas has a good chance to repeat. Dom Capps does as well. He's leading the dang thing. Pit stops, they could happen at any moment, but maybe within 10 to 15 laps. Expect these guys to be on pit road. You have to get on and off pit road the best. With the field as low as it is now, half the field is probably running competitively, if not even less than that. And well, you can't count on the caution now. Even though the leader's going to be racing like a bat out of hell, it's going to be all down to pit stops. Doesn't matter who's the strongest in this pack if you're not in that lead pack after pit stops. Jake Bassinger alongside of Dom Capps for the race lead. Anthony Marchese coming back to the front yet again in the 54. Marchese, it's been a minute now. We're coming up on 25 laps to go. 25 laps to decide it. Lap traffic will be a factor, I believe. Sanford is on the lead lap. Freeze is on the lead lap. They are in 15th and 16th. Last of the cars on the lead lap. But the leaders surely will catch them. Marchese getting a push from Turner. Richard Johnson's down there. In this lead pack, you have 10 cars, 10 hungry drivers looking for the Daytona 500 crown. Like I mentioned, pit stops is going to be ultra important. Turner getting a push from Richard Johnson. And last year's champion of the series is out front. Jesse Turner looking for that Daytona 500 crown in his 14th try. Jake Bassinger is one of them that's been looking for a long time. Bassinger, this is his 16th attempt. 16th attempt for Jake Bassinger. 14th attempt for Jesse Turner. And for Richard Johnson, his 25th try to win the great race. DJ Curtis is on the outside line. This is his 17th try to win the Daytona 500. 4 drivers in this 10-car pack that have never won the 500, and they have long attempts of trying to win this race. They've came close many a times, and this is going to be their best opportunity. Dejon Weeks, Joseph Shrigley, they don't seem like they have the pace to get up there and go for the lead. So you have about 8 cars with less than 25 laps to go that have a chance to win this Daytona 500. Still 3 wide at the lead. Jesse Turner, Richard Johnson on the inside. DeMax is pushing Marchese. Domcats pushing the 97. Jake Bassinger announced before this season that this was going to be his last ride, his last full-time season. He didn't turn down any offers to be able to come back and race part-time. Some cars are pitting. Hayden Kleins came down pit road. Nobody from the lead pack coming down pit road just yet. But 22 laps to go. Pit road is getting busy. Oh, this is going to be very important, I think. How our green flag pit stop is going to work, because we haven't seen it all race. And that might be it for Jesse Turner and Richard Johnson. They had to slow up for Alex Bignacco. Dejan Weeks also had to slow up. Joseph Shrigley is going to lose touch with those guys as well. It all comes down to circumstances and little moments like that. That might be all she wrote for Shrigley, for Turner, for Johnson and Weeks. All because Bignacco merged in front of them, and they just didn't have the line to be able to move past them. Jake Bassinger, with 20 laps to go, leads the Daytona 500. He's going to have to make his pit stop, but right now would be a perfect opportunity. DJ Curtis, Dom Caps, Marchese, DeMax, and Lamas, 6 cars still within a chance to try and win this 500. However, if a bad pit stop happens and a good one happens for these guys, it may not be over. And we're not ruling out a possibility of a yellow flag coming anytime soon. Young really up high. Is somebody going to come down pit road? Looks like they are. Jake Bassinger, Dom Caps, and Eric DeMax, they're going to come down pit road. This is the money stop. To win the Daytona 500, you need to get on and off pit road the best. DJ Curtis, last year's runner-up for the Daytona 500, came so close. We talked about it, how this is going to be attempt number 17. 17th try to win the Great American Race. He stays out again. Marchese is going to come down pit road and pit with Dylan Young. Cody Lamas stays out again. And the pack that got held up, Richard Johnson, Jesse Turner, and Dejan Weeks stay out. As for the leaders, there's Jake Bassinger, but whoa, way out in front. Dom Caps had a heck of a stop. What a pit stop for Dom Caps in the 15. He's going to get out way ahead of Jake Bassinger. Bassinger goes a lap down. So does Eric DeMax. Jesse Turner, Richard Johnson, Dejan Weeks. They'll be pitting here soon. DJ Curtis is going to come down pit road. Cody Lamas is left to stay out on the racetrack. Engine failure for Joseph Shrigley on the inside. And that's a tough break for Joseph Shrigley. He had another top 10 run in the Daytona 500 going. And what a shame. And he's going to have to lip it back to pit road. Anthony Marchese had another brilliant pit stop. He got out ahead of Dom Caps. Caps might be in a good position here. Same with Anthony Marchese to try and win the Daytona 500. Bassinger, though, lost touch of them guys. And its pit stops were going to be so important. Lama still stays out. The caution flag is out. The flag is out. Caution is out on the speedway. I guess it's for John Art. Another engine failure, and John Art's engine has let go. The leader is Cody Lamas. Lamas, Turner, and Johnson and Weeks. What a lucky break for them. They stayed out. They caught a yellow flag. Jake Bassinger desperately trying to stay on the lead lap. Here comes Lamas trying to put Bassinger a lap down. Bassinger stays on the lead lap. Cody Lamas takes the yellow flag with 15 laps to go. And Eric DeMax gets put a lap down yet again. That's a tough break for Eric DeMax. We may only have 11 cars on the lead lap for the finish of this Daytona 500. What a strategy call. by Jesse Turner and team. Richard Johnson, Dejon Weeks. They got held up, and they played the long game. And a yellow flag comes out, and now they're in a good position here. They're going to be able to come down pit road, get fresh tires, and they're going to be on the back bumper of the cars ahead of them. Wow, here it is. Cody Lamas coming down pit road with Jesse Turner, Richard Johnson, Dejon Weeks. James Silverfox is on the lead lap. Charles Sanford, Vince Freeze, they stay on the lead lap. I am so amazed. Eric DeMax gonna have to get another lap back. But the leader through all of this looks like it's gonna be DJ Curtis, maybe. Looks like it's DJ Curtis in the 19. That's gonna be the race leader when we get back racing. We race 188 laps. And it comes down to a dash. 12 laps to settle this Daytona 500. DJ Curtis is out front. He has made 16 starts in the Daytona 500. This is his 17th attempt to win the Daytona 500. Anthony Marchese lines up in second position on this final restart. He has been the dominant car today, but he has to put his craft to work as the pace car comes in. 12 laps to decide the Daytona 500. We're green. Now, with 11 cars technically on, well, 14 cars on the lead lap if you look at it. DeMax, Pollard III, Austin Rogers, they're in front of Curtis. They're on the lead lap. They want to caution quick here to be able to get back in position to win the Daytona 500. But Curtis is in the middle. He's going to have to work the lines as perfect as possible. To win the Daytona 500, you have to be perfect in this pack. Jake Bassinger already going to the inside. For many drivers in this pack, like Curtis, Bassinger, Johnson, Turner, their chances to win the Daytona 500, they've had many of them. They've had many chances to win the Great American Race, but it has passed them by. Turner has came up second. Johnson's came second. Curtis has been second. Bassinger has been second. All of those drivers have been runner-up at some point and had an opportunity slip away from them. And Bassinger is not going to let this opportunity slip. He gets to the inside. Bassinger gets to the inside line, pushing Jacob Hart, trying to get that 61 past this 3 wide. And the moment you can get past this 3 wide, you're in a good position. You got to get away from the lap down cars. Richard Johnson crossing over on Jesse Turner, following Dom Capps. Could we see a losing streak finally end? A lot of big-name veterans are in this pack, looking to finally etch a Daytona 500 win in their name. Dom Capps, though, looking for history in that 15 car. 2 Daytona 500 wins is the most of anyone. 4 drivers have done that. And, well, Dom Capps is looking to be the only one to ever get 3 Daytona 500 crowns. Marchese has come out of that pack with Dom Capps. Capps going to the inside of Marchese. Marchese missed it. Should have went to the inside with Bassinger. Jake Bassinger. We've talked about it through this race. This is his final full-time season. And he's never won the Daytona 500. He's won a championship. He's won 20-plus wins. To get the Daytona 500 crown would be the ultimate accomplishment. To make a final season, final full-time campaign worth it. Dom Capps trying to get Martin Motorsports that win that they've been trying to get for many years now. Martin is a successful team owner. He owned what was that 54 car, which is now Rodriguez Racing. Martin went off to make a new team for himself. Richard Johnson further back has moved his way into third. the king. They called him the king in the early seasons because he had double the wins of anyone else. He had won everything but the 500 at that point. 2 championships by season 5 of the series. And coming up on 10 years of the Sony Cup Series this week, Johnson lost out to the Daytona 500 to Jackson Braun back in season 1 all those years ago. Lost to James Shelly in season 17. Was very close to winning in 2019. Very close in 2018 as well. Johnson has been there every season. He's getting a big push from Jesse Turner. Richard Johnson has not led all day, but that Monster Energy Racing car, it's up front now. And Monster Energy Racing, they've yet to win in the Sony Cup Series on their return back to the level. And Johnson, they're 3 wide for second, with Marchese trying to get that 54 back to the front. Jesse Turner, Dom Capps, Marchese. Marchese lacking a lot of experience with these big-name drivers, these veterans that are duking it for the win. The veterans usually shine in these prestigious events, but Marchese has had a car that has been outstanding all race weekend, and especially today. Eric DeMax is behind him, lap down car. As you remember, Ryan Griffin, Alex Peñaco, they are a lap down. Same with Ryan Acosta. Marchese drawing even. The fans jumping up and down, pulling for that guy in the high side, Richard Johnson. In his 25th try to win the Daytona 500, Johnson with a big push from Jesse Turner. 6 laps to go to decide the 26th running of this race. Johnson has some help and some friends. Jesse Turner's been locked on the back bumper these last handful of laps. Dom Capps is a fast car as well. It's a lot of good cars behind Richard. Richard Johnson, he has been trying for so long. And coming up on 10 years in the series, Johnson was racing all the way back then. It's been a long time. And Johnson side by side with the 2020 Hardee's National Series champion, dead even at the stripe. Time is ticking. 5 to go. Eric DeMax and an engine failure for DJ Curtis. Probably the second best car on the grid for the Daytona 500 this speed weeks. And Curtis is going to end the Daytona 500 just like he ended 2021. An engine failure within 5 laps to go of the Daytona 500. He's out of it. Racing through turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide for the lead. Jake Bassinger has gotten to the inside of Anthony Marchese. What a move by Bassinger. Bassinger in the 97 Bang Ford is trying to get that car back out front. He's clear Marchese, but Bassinger's teammate Turner has been supporting Richard Johnson, pushing him back to the front. Turner does not want to settle for second again. He finished runner-up in a photo finish to James Silverfox in 2017. Turner usually has not had a whole lot of luck on the super speedways at Daytona for the 500, but he's won at Talladega before. Johnson again out front. Can he clear Jake Bassinger? Trying to get down low. Oh my goodness, that was so close for Richard. If Richard could have just got down in front of Bassinger, that could have been it. But Bassinger has fought back, and Marchese trying to go 3 wide. Bassinger's got to shut the door, and he does it. Richard's lost his partner. Jesse Turner's got kicked up high. Here comes Dom Capps. Marchese again trying to the inside, trying to get back to the front. Bassinger in the 97 doing what he needs to do. There are 3 laps to go in the Daytona 500. There's no lifting now. Lamas is going 3 wide on Turner. Anthony Marchese so close to Jake Bassinger, but he doesn't have any help. Dom Capps wants to go up the middle. Capps can't find anything though. We're coming back to 2 to go. Richard has found his buddy. Jesse Turner again pushing Richard. Richard Johnson needs the 17 to give him a big push. Richard, the old guy on the track, but he still shines like he's 22. And here comes DJ Curtis is back on the track. Curtis said, I'm not done yet. Eric DeMax is a lap down car. Remember that. He may play a factor in this finish of the Daytona 500. Marchese and Richard Johnson side by side. Does Turner give Richard the push he needs? Or does Dom Capps give Marchese that shove? Richard eats just a little bit out in front. Bassinger passing to Max. He's going to need to put on heck of a block here at the end of this one. It's Marchese and Dom Capps fighting their way back. Johnson, though, still has a push from Turner, but Turner pushes high again. That allows the inside line to get the momentum, it looks like. Marchese in the 54 getting pushed up. Dom Capps looking for that third Daytona 500. Bassinger needs to block. Here comes Capps for Martin Motorsports. They are side by side on the back straightaway. Jake Bassinger trying to hang on. Marchese may be helping Jake Bassinger to the win. Here comes Johnson fighting back at the top. Bassinger trying to shut the door, but here comes Dom Capps. Capps looking for a record-breaking third 500. Bassinger trying to finally win it. Jake Bassinger, Dom Capps, side by side and to the line. Jake Bassinger is a Daytona 500 champion. Finally, Jake Bassinger finally gets the Daytona 500 win in his 16th start in the Daytona 500. He can finally write off the Daytona 500. He has accomplished it. He has done it in a 20-plus win career. Jake Bassinger with a championship to boot. And finally, a Daytona 500 to add to that. The resume for Bassinger has got to be feeling like he's complete. The last big thing Bassinger could have want to finally accomplish, same with guys like Jesse Turner, Richard Johnson. They were fighting so hard for it, but it's Jake Bassinger that finally gets the monkey off his back. He finally wins the Daytona 500. And Jake Bassinger finishes with a runner-up finish with Dom Capps. 2/100ths of a second. You got to give a call to Martin Motorsports for bringing that team such a good car. Dom Capps, so good on the super speedways. Almost got back to victory lane. It's been since 2018 since Dom Capps has won. He finishes runner-up today. That return to victory lane's got to be around the corner. He was so quick. Richard Johnson, man, cannot seem to catch a break in the Daytona 500. So close. He finishes on the podium, but it's just out of reach again. Anthony Marchese dominated, but it's going to be fourth place for him. Jesse Turner finishes in fifth. Another year, the Daytona 500 slips away. Cody Lamas, everyone on back, I don't think had the car. Cody had a good car, but he had been involved in some wrecks, and the fact that he was even there anyway near the end shows good promise. The fact that anyone from like outside the top six, great run for them, honestly. Charles Sanford, Dejon Weeks, Vince Parise, James Silverfox, they should be probably very happy with the top 10 run considering their race today. Good points finishes for those guys, but I know everyone inside that top 5, other than Jake Bassinger, is going to be very disappointed with not getting the win, because the win is all that mattered today. This is such a big race. The 26th running in the 10th year of the Sony Cup Series, and it's Jake Bassinger that finally wins the Daytona 500. Oh my goodness. Dom Capps so close to that record-breaking third 500 win, and Johnson 10 years trying. I mean, 25 tries, his 25th start in the 500 out of 26 races we've done in the 500, and Johnson so close again. So close. Well, that was the Daytona 500. Thank you all so much for watching. I can't wait to see you for next race, but man, what a story. Bassinger in his final full-time season, his last hurrah, and he comes into his final full-time season and wins the Daytona 500. You either got to think Bassinger may change his mind on that full-time decision, or he may be comfortable with his career now, adding that 500 win. What a drive. Congratulations to him. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after the 26th running of the Daytona 500.